Good morning. This is Bill from Auto Europa Naples on a muggy Florida Tuesday. You know, I'm even fighting mist on the car, which I should not be in the waning days of October. It should be cool, it should be nice, and instead it feels like, you know, jungle warfare. So far we are being cheated. I can report we did do Sebring this weekend, the race. There were some incidents there, very minor, you know, couple little setbacks. I did get a spin. If anyone's interested in seeing, I'll post the video or, you know, a little highlight clip of some of the stupidity that went on out there. But if you are, just chime in and I'll try to put something together. And let's move on to this. This is a 2014 Mercedes-Benz E350 Coupe. And this is this car holds a pretty rare distinction in being one of the very few cars that a crabby old bastard like me would actually think about using as a daily driver. Again, you know, to get me out of my old tired Chevy pickup truck is going to take an act of God, or at the very minimum, an act of Mercedes-Benz, because this one might do it. I've always been a fan of Mercedes Coupes. I love them. I love the styling. I love the feel, the look. Everything about them I've always just loved. So this is going to be a fun review for me where I don't get to beat the car up too much and I get to actually like it. 2014 saw a redesign on this car. Not a big one. They call it a facelift. You can see the mist on the hood. October 20-something. Good Lord. Anyway, it got a facelift, they call it, and that means a new front fascia. You know, Mercedes does this from time to time to keep the models looking fresh and current, and, you know, especially if a new model is coming out, it encourages the people to go out and snap up the old ones. What they did was change the headlights radically. They became absolutely stunning. The whole front bumper effect is different. Big star in the grille, much more aggressive and angry looking than the first W212. Some people like that one better. Some people like this one better, so that probably means they're both pretty nice. You see all those big air inlets at the bottom. I think they're faux off to the side. Let's have a look there. Yeah, those are faux, but the center and grill inlet, of course, lets that big V6 breathe. This one also has the AMG Sport package. That's apparently a bit of a confusing topic for people because the AMG Sport package does not necessarily mean, in fact, it doesn't mean at all, that it's a car with AMG tuning. That is an AMG car. What the AMG Sport package is Mercedes sort of using their ownership of AMG to their advantage, putting on AMG parts on a, you know, normal E or S or whatever model in order to make them more, you know, sporty and visibly appealing. So this thing gets AMG Sport wheels, it gets AMG bumper treatments, it gets AMG dual exhaust, but there is no tuning under the hood. It's not an AMG car. It just has the AMG Sport package, which is all about styling. And speaking of styling, I mean, look at this thing. You know, again, the two-door versions of these cars, these E-Class coupes, have always been stunning, and this one is no exception. And that's from a company that prides itself on function over form. But look at that greenhouse with the big curvature. It's got frameless glass, so when you put down the front and rear windows, there's this giant space on the side, almost convertible worthy, which again is an historic Mercedes styling cue. Around back, you see those big twice pipes. You see the twin-spoke 5-star AMG alloys with big brakes behind them. This one's got nice Michelins on it. The beautiful LED taillight design. This one has the LED package. I think the taillights would be the same, but the headlights are different from ones without. But all that sort of ropey LED stuff, which does look pretty. And I do like the way the lines of the taillights sort of follow the body lines of the car. Let's put our initials in this thing. Cheated about weather. You see it's got the windscreen or sunscreen up at the back as well. But anyway, very beautiful styling on the car. Look at that gorgeous side profile. Absolutely lovely. This one does have a panoramic roof, so you got that big black section on top. You have a big giant sunroof there. I do like the curvature of the wheel wells, the way it sort of molds itself into the angular design of the car. It just looks aggressive just sitting there. You know, a bit of a German Camaro, if you will. Anyway, let's just get into the car. So we'll start inside the trunk, as we always do. There's a little grippy thing behind the star and a lidge there. You give that a pinch and up it comes. Okay, nice big trunk. Of course, it shares that with the E-Class sedan. You got plenty of room in there to put all your stuff, your crates of hand grenades, or whatever it is you need to throw in the back. I suppose one could go shopping. You also do have split fold-down rear seating. That's what these two little pull guys are for. So if you need some really long cargo, again, your sniper rifles, your golf clubs, your any number of things, whatever that big broad was who was in Kill Bill, you could stuff her back there, no problem. You've got a first aid kit, everything a wounded German might need. You got a little, that's not going to really work as an infant containment net unless it's a very small infant. Probably fit some sort of a toy poodle in there. But anyway, you get a little netty spot there. And then if you lift this guy up, which you can conveniently hook on the weather strip, there you see a true spare tire, no run flats on this, with all your jacking hardware, and another place to stuff, little bags of narcotics and try to hide it away from the state troopers. Have a look under the hood. So in 2013, Mercedes-Benz upped their standard V6 like this one. The 3.5 V6 makes its way into a bunch of Mercedes cars and trucks and such. And they redesigned it for 13, and of course this 14 still has it. So this is 3.5 liters, now with direct injection, which brings up one of my few complaints about this car, and that is that the direct injection system on these things are kind of ticky. When they're sitting there, you don't really hear it inside the car, but when you're outside the car, it just seems a little ticky, tick, 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 tick. Porsche apparently solved the direct injection tick issue by putting in a whole different second set of injectors to use at idle, which cuts it down. Obviously, that adds great expense to the car, and Mercedes wasn't going to do it. Let me demonstrate it anyway and hear it. So, it is a valid complaint. I don't know if they're still doing it or they figured out a way around it, but... Alright, so there it is. You just hear that little bit of ticking. It's almost diesel-esque in a way, which just, I don't know, I find a bit strange. But one can't argue with the statistics of the motor. It is, again, 3.5 liter, 302 horsepower, which is precisely the number their old V8 used to have before that got updated. So, this thing has tons of torque, tons of pull. It is a, V8 level V6, which of course is the modern way, and they do it without a turbo, so that does keep costs down, maintenance down, and it becomes a pretty great workhorse of an engine. That's made into a 7-speed automatic, very tried and true, bulletproof, and nice vehicle to drive overall. Very good, very adequate drivetrain in this car. Now, having that LED light package, these are the most beautiful, look at that intelligent light system. I have to say, those are absolutely gorgeous headlights with all the weird little projectors. You get this big rope LED going across that you can see at night. And, I'm not really a sucker for bling most of the time, but Mercedes got me on this one. I just think those are the most attractive headlights. I also like the way the mirrors have the black at the bottom and support, body color on top with the pickle fork indicators on the side. I just think that looks really cool. This one does have keyless go, which is of course standard equipment unlike a Nissan Versa, but Mercedes makes it an option and charges for it. So to lock it, you just run your thumb right there. You see the pin goes down, everything flashes. Put your hand on it to open it up. Nice stuff. Now I think if I have the key, I can run all the windows down and the sunroof back, so bear with me a minute. Let me pull that thing out. Let's see if we can do it. So I'm going to hold the key out, press and hold the unlock button. Sure enough, there go the windows. Doesn't run the sunroof, which is just absolutely fine, unless I do it twice. No. Anyway, now you can see, look at the side of that car. The way the frameless glass makes it, so you just have this enormous space where the front and rear windows have gone down. You run that big pano roof back, and you are essentially in a fixed roof convertible of some type, almost a Targa top. It's a very, very cool setup, and that harkens back to decades of Mercedes styling. You can, of course, reverse that by pressing and hold the lock button, and up come all 4 windows. Nice stuff. Have a look inside. I'll do the back seat. So, Canadian test. How are they going to be? They're going to be pretty okay back there. They're not going to be giggling, but they're going to be okay. You can see those sort of low slung bucket seats. When you put the front seat forward to let them in, it does roll forward in a power assist fashion, so makes your egress and entry a little bit easier. You get this neat little wooden roller cup holder cover, which is a very classic Mercedes design, the little wood roller things. They always broke on the old ones, but still loved them anyway. You can see the sunscreen is up in the back. That's power operated. And I do love the contrasting leather with the super light dove gray and the black. I think that looks great. Having black carpet in a car makes a lot of sense because it just doesn't show the dirt. But you don't always want black seats, particularly in southern climates. You got airbags everywhere. You got safety crap everywhere. So, you know, your Canadians are going to be pretty well protected in the event of calamity. And otherwise, just stuff them back there and tell them to shut up. Door panel treatment, lovely. You've got this sort of dark bird's eye maple wood. Nice little nickel-y surround. Lovely little nickel-y pull handles. They updated the seat switches. They're prettier. Nice design. You got all your power windows and mirrors there. Of course, your memory seat. Down low, you've got a very hard to get to storage spot, but I guess one could stuff a yeah, you're not going to put a big gun in there. You're just not. I mean, it's going to be banging around. You do have your trunk release there as well. But as far as like a switchblade or a bag of weed or something, that's a good spot for it. Let's hop in, fire it up, and get some AC going. So foot on the brake. I'm going to tap this big start-stop. Everything fires to life with a picture of the car staring at you. Here comes our detailer. I have to say, I give him another C+ on this one. He's replaced basically every component in that Miata because it's been overheating. Secretly, I can tell it's the lower radiator hose that's been leaking, but I've watched as he's replaced everything but the lower radiator hose. He's getting ready to do a head gasket on it, and I'm just not sure if I should tell him or not. Probably not. Anyway, very nicely laid out instrument cluster in front of this rather gorgeous wood and leather steering wheel. You get these lovely grippity things at the 10 and 2. You get this nice nickel-y treatment. You get all the buttons for your you know, on steering wheel multi-function controls. Over here you've got your headlights. They very nicely simulate the classic Mercedes headlight switch, but they really aren't. I mean, you can leave it on auto, which is fine. Go over to, you know, your parking. These things, a lot of people turn these off. They just go all the way to the left, which is not correct. What that's going to do is turn on your city light. So it's either going to light up the left side or right side of the car if you're parked on the side of the road in New York City. So don't do that. These are your parking lights. They'll be on all the time. Auto is the correct spot for them, but if you leave it in on, it's the same damn thing. I mean, they don't stay on when you shut the car off, so why even have those two different settings? You could just have auto or just a light thing. I mean, it's the same exact setting, so kind of weird. This one does have the driver assist package, so you can see that yellow triangle in the rear view mirror, side view mirror. That's your blind spot warning. It's also going to have lane assist, which works with a camera up here that sort of keeps you in your lane and vibrates the steering wheel and seat if you're, you know, getting out of it. And there's a little coffee cup somewhere that'll pop up and vibrate red and, you know, tell you look like crap. Pull over, get some coffee, start eating better, living a better life, you know. Yeah, you have to stop abusing yourself. So it's nice to have a car that's like Richard Simmons. You got what? You got your wipers there. You got your cruise down here, which is a new spot for Mercedes. Used to be up higher. You've got tilt telescope there on power. You've got your sort of updated column shifter. So, I mean, there was nothing more uncool than a column shifter in the recent past. But I guess when you make it electronic and, you know, kind of subtle, it becomes a little bit cooler. So, foot on the brake, you push up to go into reverse. That's going to light up your rear camera. You push down to go into drive. And you see it starts in D2, by the way. Mercedes historically has started in second gear to make it smoother. I don't know if I go down again, will it give me D1? No, I don't know how to get into D1, but I'm sure we can figure that out. But anyway, to go into park, then you tap this guy on the side. So there you go. Okay, over here, Mercedes updated command system, cockpit management and data. Very nice, stylistic now, nice size screen. The nav is quite pretty to look at. That gets you into your, your eye. It's like the iDrive kind of, but I think a little bit more friendly. So this is a joystick that moves up, down, or spins. So I can move it up, go to this top row of choices. We can go to audio. There you can see AM, FM, satellite, disc, card, register, USB, blah, 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 YouTube, Bluetooth. You can do anything to, again, if you can't entertain yourself with the options this thing has, then you're probably needing psychological help of some kind. You also get into your Bluetooth stuff. You can watch, a video when you're sitting at the parking lot or red light, put on behind the green door, whatever it is you want to watch. That gets into your system settings. There's 2 analog clocks. So we know we're in a luxury car. We have a faux analog clock and a real one. So Mercedes isn't taking any chances with that. I like the nickel treatment. The analog, you know what? I'm done with analog clocks. I really am. Okay, we get it. It's a luxury car. You have to have it. Bentley has it. Whoever, Jaguar. Just stop it. It's gone on long enough. Let's just have proper digital clock somewhere like an old Toyota Celica so you actually know what time it is without having to zero in your eyes on it. Just get rid of that, for the love of God. Down here, all your direct access buttons for the command unit. All nice stuff. You've got your heated seats, which we do not need today. That'll run down the rear sunscreen. See that going down there? This will represent the seat belt. So let's say I take my seat belt off. It goes back into that little retractable thing there, and now I press this. And out comes that little robotic arm to represent the seatbelt to me. And the reason they have that is if you're just sitting in the car idling, checking your notes or, figuring out what it is you want to do next, that seatbelt arm will retract. And instead of making you reach way back and throw at your back, because frankly, only older people can usually afford these things when they're new, what they do is give you that button to press so it comes back out again. This is your hazard switch. This is an eco setting, which we're immediately going to turn off, which will change the shift points and in fact sometimes shut the car off at red lights. I don't think it does in this car, thank God, but either way I'm not taking any chances. Let's shut off that ecological crap. Here's a nice dual side climate control, lovely. You can set it how you want it. You got some very traditional cup holders for a Mercedes, and by non-traditional what I mean is it doesn't look like they're going to break. They're very just proper. Maybe these little tensioners could break, but I doubt it. They feel even just, very simple. So you're probably going to be fine with those, and you won't have to go back to the dealer and replace your cup holders every couple of years. You have a genuine ashtray there for the smokers who are still with us. Cough, cough. You've got your Eco Sport and manual button for the shifting, the transmission. Being a sport package, this does have the little flippity flips if you want to bang your way through the gears, pretend you're Mario Andretti, which you're not. Here's a great little place to put some meth. The trooper might not even know that's there, so put that back down and we'll all just keep quiet. In here you've got your phone or iPod or auxiliary connectors, all that stuff, very nice. Over here you've got a glove box, very traditional. Up top you've got your home link garage door stuff. You've got your SOS button, Mercedes version of OnStar Embrace, and you have this nice big power panoramic sunroof. So back goes the slider, and then back goes this big giant sunroof. So when you do that and you put all 4 windows down, which we'll do now, nice, they're all one touch. I mean, look at that. So look at all the air you get to pull in here. All that stuff on the side and all that stuff on the top. Very, very convertible-esque. Let's close it all down. And you see an airbag indicator there. You see one on the back. You see one on the doors. I mean, this thing just has airbags everywhere, so safety is not an issue. Okay, so who buys this car? Because obviously the two-door, this coupe, has less utility than the four-door. You could fit 5 in a four-door. You're only putting 4 in here. It's got more space inside the four-door. So, you know, again, why? What's the point? Well, I think the point is the idea of sort of a luxury transport for somebody who's by the grace of God, their children have moved out or they were kidnapped and taken away and they don't have any around anymore. And they're just, you know, they're fairly well-to-do. They have a nice, reliable income. But you know, they're still practical and smart. They don't want to, you know, throw out the life savings. And you just want to look elegant everywhere you show up. You know, that is what this car is all about. It is a beautifully elegant car. You know, you look stylish. You look, you know, like somebody with taste and class. You know, it whispers, you know, being prosperous. It doesn't put it in your face. It's a nice conservative car. And at the same time, it does offer a certain level of practicality. I want to take one moment to bring up Bertha Benz again. I absolutely love that woman. She was married to Carl Benz, of course, the what some people would say was the inventor of the automobile. She brought her dowry along, so she gave him that to get things going. She, unbeknownst to him in 1988, took his car out for a 66-mile round trip that nobody asked her to do. Along the way, she invents brake linings. She just invents them. Okay, the brakes suck. It's wood on wood. These are terrible brakes. So I'm just going to go ahead and invent brake lining. She stopped somewhere that had leather sewn on the brakes. She instituted insulation around the wiring. She put in an evaporative cooling system. She basically made the first fueling station by stopping at a little I can't even say that word, a chemist along the way and buying the Lindgroin oil or whatever the hell it was that the thing ran on. And, you know, made it to see her mother ostensibly. That was the idea of the trip with 2 of her 5 children, when in fact it was all a big PR blitz to get people interested in the car, which it did, and helped launch Benz into, you know, a pretty successful company. And you see where that went. It turned out it worked out pretty good. Where do I find a woman like this? Where do I find a woman who can invent brake linings? I mean, right now I'm stuck with the type who make me go to the grocery store and get them stuff and then complain about the stuff that I do get because it's not accurate with the, you know, vague suggestions that they told me to go with. She wouldn't invent brake linings. She wouldn't even think about it. And there this guy gets a dowry and the brake linings and a PR, you know, genius. And anyway, turns into a, you know, major company. So God bless Carl Benz, you lucky bastard. I hope you took good care of that woman. Anyway, back to the car. So driving is just perfection. Very, very smooth, very lovely. I obviously can't hammer it here to let you hear those 302. Well, let's do it anyway. Instant torque, lovely pull. They give you just the right amount of engine noise inside so you know you're doing something without it being in any way overpowering. Otherwise, it's just nice, quiet, and lovely in here. Of course, the precision engineering, there's no wind noise, there's no vibration coming through the wheel. The brakes are perfection. The shifting, don't even bother flipping these things yourself. The shifting does its own, you know, way better than anyone else can. And it's just, you know, a joy of driving. And at the same time, you can forget about it and just go on autopilot. It really is the perfect car in so many ways, these E-Coupes. I have to forgive our detailer's windshield cleaning job. So anyway, there it is. This is a 2014 Mercedes-Benz E350 Coupe with the AMG Sport Package. You know, the E-Class Coupes always been one of my favorite cars. There's something so lovely about them. And inevitably, they do become collectible, whether an S-Class Coupe or an E-Class. Way more than the sedans. The Coupes and the convertibles become collectible. Not that anyone gives a crap about that when they're buying this thing. You know, wait another 20 years. But look at that Miami blue 911. And they're getting pretty, although I don't know if that works with the black top. God, what a fat ass that car has. Bama, roll tide. Anyway, I love it. This is a car that could tempt me out of the Silverado and into this, so I could enjoy it and, you know, drive around looking more elegant and classy than I am. You know, go to wherever it is that, you know, people go, the massage parlors or nightclubs or, you know, what have you, and, you know, sort of enjoy yourself and look, you know, sort of like an elegant old James Bond type. So anyway, thank you very much for having a look at this review. We really appreciate it, and I will see you with the next car. Take care.